This is how I'm going to 3x my investment on a property purchase that I turn into an Airbnb using the BRARR method. The city that I've chosen is Melbourne. I think it's poised to increase more than any other capital city in Australia in the next couple of years. And I found someone that has renovated an Airbnb in the city that gives me confidence that I can pull this off. And I'm going to break down the numbers for you. So the too long didn't read version is invest $155,000, renovate the property, put it on Airbnb, and after doing all of that over 5 years, I will make $452,000, which is a 2.91x on my money. So let's quickly jump into the numbers. So I'm looking at around a $500,000 property, and I'm going to try to get a pre-approval with a renovation loan of $150,000. So I'd be all in for $650K, and that would be 25% of the value on the purchase price to allow for 20% deposit, 5% incidentals or closing costs or whatever, and 20% leverage on the $150K renovation loan. And I'd be left with a property worth a bit under $650K, I would expect. After that, so let's just look at the numbers. If I didn't renovate it, I'd earn around $550 a week, give or take. If I renovated it and then put it on the long-term rent, I'd earn around $850 a week. But because I'm doing a renovation that is short-term specific to absolutely kill it in most Airbnb city markets, the average that I'm going to expect per week renovated in gross payouts, after accounting for the occupancy rate, etc., is $2,200 per week, which is $114K per year. Now let's talk about that as a rental yield. So unrenovated would be 5.7%, right? That's based on the $500,000 there. And renovated would be 6.8%. Because the renovation will be so good that I'm confident that someone would pay this much more for the size of this property because the renovation would be so good. Because you just can't get really nicely renovated rental properties. So someone would pay that. I'm confident in that. Short-term average per week renovated. All right, I've covered that. You can see the crazy returns that it starts to get. 17.6% gross yield, which we're going to take the costs from, and I'll explain how much I'm actually going to make in net profit per year. So we've got the mortgage, which is based on $650K total cost. Going to borrow 80% of that value from the bank at around 6% interest rate, which means it's going to cost me 31 grand to hold the property every year. Well, in terms of mortgage, like interest only payments. Then these are some fairly conservative remainder cost bills like electricity and gas and Wi-Fi. Strata, $1,500 per quarter, which is pretty much as high as I can imagine for the apartment size. Supplies, like toilet paper, dishwashing liquid, etc. Council rates, I'm guessing maximum $2,500 a year. I don't really know, to be honest, but I've been fairly conservative with this sort of stuff. Insurance will be less than $1,000 because it'll be short-term rental, landlord insurance. Repairs and maintenance, 2 grand, and all up that's 15K for those plus the mortgage. So for those ones, it's $288 per week. I'm expecting to get a 5% average capital gain over the next 5 years. So I just calculated that like 650K times 1.05 over 5 years minus 650K divided by 5. Basically, it's 36K in capital gains per year that the price of the property will go up. Maybe that's an overshot, but the good thing here is I've got this profit here. I'm actually going to make more in net profit from the Airbnb itself rather than the capital gains. So if it doesn't go up at all, at least I'm still going to make this amount. So let's talk about how I got to this amount. Short-term average per week renovated $2,200 a week, which is a massive number of 114 grand per year, which leaves us with a net profit of 68 grand, which is 114 minus the mortgage, minus all those bills. So that's a net profit of $1,300 per week. That's after paying absolutely everything. I'm putting this amount in my pocket. I'm not talking about tax, by the way. Obviously, the tax man will take a large amount of that at the end of the tax year, unfortunately, but that's just how it is. That's the price to pay in this amazing, the price to play in this amazing property Ponzi in Australia. So, just to be clear, also, I know there's like a tax on. There's a tourist tax of 7%, and I've already deducted that. So this is literally the payouts per guest. So Airbnb fees, tourist tax, cleaning fees have all been taken away before this amount. So the guests are actually paying way more out of their bank account to stay, for example, for 1 week in this place. But in any case, let's say there's a bunch of taxes, and I've completely got it wrong here. And let's take it down to 1,800 a week. I'm still going to make 47K net profit per year. And basically the numbers end up like this. So if I change this back to the original number to get this number back to 68K, so year one, I'm allowing for an entire year to just not have it on Airbnb, not bringing in any income other than the 5% capital gains of 36K. Year two, I'm doing capital gains 5% plus the profit per year. Year three, yeah, the same again, for a total of basically getting $452,000 richer. And then if we do 452,000 divided by my initial investment of 155,000, that's 2.91. So it's almost a 3x return on my money. And for anyone out there that thinks that Melbourne is not going to go up, like an apartment in close to the center of Melbourne is not going to go up at all, I've just done the maths here for you as well, just so we can be open to that scenario, because it is a possibility. It's not what I think is going to happen though, because Melbourne is so underpriced right now and hasn't performed very well for many, many years. So I would make 272,000 profit over the next 5 years from Airbnb only. So 0 in year one because of the renovation, and then 4 years of 68 grand, a total of 272K. And that would be almost a 2x my investment. So it's a long time to wait for a 2x investment in terms of real estate. But what I would be stoked about is that 68 grand adding to my taxable income for the rest of my life. Something to consider though is the capital gains is treated differently. So I wouldn't pay tax on that amount every year. Like if it was the 36K per year, I wouldn't pay any tax on that until I sell the place. And then I would pay around 45% tax on this amount because it would be adding to my income. So that is something to consider in this strategy, is you pay tax every year rather than accumulating that tax and being able to, rather than accumulating that capital gains tax bill and being able to draw down the equity in the meantime until you sell it, which you could do for 50 years, for example. So if you want to learn how to do stuff like this and join a community of the top 1% of Airbnb hosts in the world, there's a link below to join my school community, and I'll see you in there.